जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रजनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रजनरंजन। चामुनातिरानचारि। जमुनातिरावनचारि। जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज रंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज रंजन। जामुनतीरावनचारि। यमुनातीरावनचारि। जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज रंजन। चामुनतीरावनचारि। जमुनातीरावनचारि। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद् चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, नर्मदा माई की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणिता शिविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति विकास स्वामिनिति नामने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। नर्मदा माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेता गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च रूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणताश्विशाखान्वितांश्च ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भक्तिकासस्वामिनिति नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशितारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवश्री गौरभक्तवृंद। मुखं करोति वाचालं मंगलं गायति गिरिमत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुनितारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna, welcome to the fifth session of the online reading of Patropadesa Volume 2. So we are in page number 88, reading from Patropadesa Volume 2, page number 88. I hope everybody is able to hear me properly. Am I audible? Conversations, get the conversation started. Yes. Is everybody able to hear me? Maybe they didn't hear properly. I think so. That's why I have to write. Okay. So we're going to start page number 88. January 2013. Thank you very much for thinking of me and for this excellent news at the beginning of the Malicha's New Year. Oh, it is a great achievement to produce Srila Prabhupada books in Burmese, and I deem it my good fortune to have had the mercy to have been involved in preaching in Burma at the time of its very inception. You have performed excellent service for many years in distributing Srila Prabhupada's mercy throughout Burma, and this printing of Srimad Bhagavatam will much enhance the preaching efforts there. 3rd January 2013. It is very good news that you are committing to serve in Malawi. This is a great sacrifice for you, a bold move that will much enhance for your advancement in Krishna consciousness. You did not mention the Telugu community, but obviously they are an important group that you in particular can minister to. 3rd January 2013. You need not blame yourself for BK Prabhu leaving. Rather, you should be congratulated for being able to engage him there so long. 3rd January 2013. I assume and trust that in writing, in quotes, different policies, G. Prabhu was referring to things like which room you would stay in, who might be assigned to assist you, etc. Probably as a TP, he has to deal with a lot of legal matters and ISKCON official concerns. TP means temple president, I think. Temple president. And that is why he wrote in that stuffy way. But I am sure he is still the same jolly G, and he was completely sincere in stating that you are welcome to stay longer. Third, 7th January 2013. I started to read the email exchange that you sent, but I didn't finish it as it seemed to be much ado about nothing. The main impression I got from it is the amazing sacrifice that S. Prabhu continues to make in continuing to try to make the best out of out of a situation that can never approach usual standards of normalcy. So it seems you will be on the road again. You might try to polish your social skills, in quotes, so that you will be less liable to rub people up the wrong way. I am probably not the best person to suggest this to you because, as you know, I also am unwelcome in several places. 7th January 2013. I am at a loss as to how to guide B Mata. She herself wants to dictate the paradigm within which I shall guide her. I am not inclined to give regular personal guidance to unmarried women. 7 January 2013. It is very pleasant to get a note from you after a long time and to learn that you are alive, if not fully well in Krishna consciousness. The best advice I can give you is the same for everyone. Chant your rounds, read Srila Prabhupada's books, and perform all other activities that are conducive to taking best advantage of the rare opportunity that we have by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada to go back to Godhead in this very life. Please keep on trying. 9th January 2013. I am very happy to learn that your girls are relishing Ram Leela, and I can just picture you animatedly reading it to them. It makes me think, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, many similar scenes of relishing of Ram Leela are, and will take place through this edition of Ramayana. 10 January 2013. Your story serves as a classic warning as to why astrological and other matching should be conducted before deciding to marry, and the disastrous consequences that can ensue if marriage is entered into without careful forethought. Even after the ignominy of divorce, when you might have hoped to have put the past behind you, still you cannot get peace. I know at least one other case of severe mismatch in which both spouses were good devotees, but when combined, they really brought out the worst in each other. I suggest that you write a report of the whole situation from your perspective and give hard copies to whoever is being influenced by the propaganda against you. You might also take the time and trouble to personally explain your situation to those devotees who now think badly of you. In explaining your situation, it is best to adopt a detached tone and merely present the facts as you see them, giving the benefit of doubt where appropriate to those who criticize you, and also admit your shortcomings during this whole unfortunate episode. Such a presentation will be more honest and more convincing than diatribe. Diatribe. Remember that, however bad our circumstances may seem to be, they cannot be much worse still. And that right now there are people suffering considerably more than we are. Do not expect justice in this Kali Yuga. Expect injustice. Accept the inevitable tribulations that we must face as Krishna's indication to us that we must practice devotional service with full sincerity so that we can go back to Godhead in this very life. 10th January 2013. Thank you for informing me of the disturbed condition at N. It is a matter of great concern. Your priority should be to see to the spiritual needs of the devotees there. They are all sincere souls, and the present situation is simply an attack of Maya. Please give time to the devotees to help to normalize the situation. Everyone should attend the temple programs mornings and evenings, and in the evening, also there should be a class or an extended kirtan. 11th January 2013. Thank you for this very good news. The score is especially notable considering the economic situation in Ireland. However, my duty following in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada is to not only congratulate you but to urge you to increase it. Even without my urging you, you will try to increase, but still it is my duty to urge you. 11th January 2013. It is a wise policy to gradually train new bhaktas, giving them knowledge of and a taste of Krishna consciousness rather than pushing them too hard in the beginning. To clarify about sending boys to you for training in astrology, devotees in Gujarat were discussing about our pilot Varnashrama projects and how gradually we will how gradually we will need Ayurvedic doctors, astrologers, etc. We thought to have some young men trained in these fields, and to that would automatically look after their future livelihood also. I definitely want to see some young men trained in astrology, but as you note, they will have to be very special souls, both materially and spiritually. Astrology is one of those things that, if not done expertly, should not be done at all. 15 January 2013. As you, of course, know, real sannyasa is not a change of cloth, but a state of consciousness. As you are already fully fixed in the consciousness that your every breath is meant for Srila Prabhupada's service, there is no need that you take sannyasa unless it enhances that service. Although some devotees may take sannyas just to help them better feel the part, you might consider that your taking sannyas might actually hinder your service. There are many social obligations, and you become a public figure who is open to everyone at all times for advice, complaining to, etc. Sannyasira alpa chhidra sharboloke goy, guy. All the faults of the sannyasi, real or imagined, are widely broadcast. Despite all that, you might find some devotees who are inspired to seriously help you in your main service, but it comes with a price, as mentioned above. Apart from this, you might face the same problem that I do, that of being a figurehead for an institution that has changed so much since you joined it that you can no longer very well relate to it. Jai. I don't know exactly what kind of advice you were expecting, and I apologize if this all sounds too negative. It's off the cuff. 15 January 2013. A Prabhu and B Prabhu can give you an idea of how to go in like a needle. It is possible to gradually turn things around, but going in like a plow won't work. Your report from H makes us wonder how long Krishna will let this nonsense continue. 18 January 2013. If H is set on joining USAF, I think United States Air Force, then probably best to encourage him, although I have some concerns that you no doubt have already considered, namely bad association, especially in combat situation, and in boot camp prasad, maybe even vegetarian food might not be available. America's military objectives are hardly dharmic. I won't like to get your opinion about this point. I'm not intrinsically against him joining USAF, but these are my concerns. It is better to first complete old long standing projects before embarking on new ones. I had asked a committee to be formed to deal with issues such as these precisely because I do not want to get involved in the back and forth discussion. Srila Prabhupada told a story from Hitopadesh of the sons beating their father while disagreeing over how to massage him. And yeah. 22nd January 2013. It should be okay to go to the Hindu temple program if you make it very clear without naming names that Srila Prabhupada presented the real Vedic message and that many others are just misleading people. There should also be an opportunity, if possible, to do kirtan and present our books. 29 January 2013. You must know that whatever sincere service you have performed will never go in vain, even if the end result appears to be a failure. For sure, many devotees will appreciate the efforts of S. Prabhu and his team after you have all left, and the difference will be starkly apparent. I don't have ill feelings towards K. Prabhu, and I don't think that he has any toward me. We have markedly different and incompatible approaches in Srila Prabhupada's service. I last visited A about 25 years ago and I have no plans to return there. Not that I have anything against the place, but that we all have our limits and we cannot do everything or go everywhere. Okay, I shall request now some devotees to read. Firstly, Shyamakunda Prabhu. If you are there, please continue to read, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I hope you are able to hear me. And if you have arranged a mic, please continue to read. In the last 2 days, you are unable to read.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Oh, you don't have the mic.
I have a mic. Pranam Prabhu. Am I audible?
But it is very low voice, Prabhu. So that's why I wanted you to
I
have.
always keep the it's microphone very near my mouth. I don't know.
कहाँ गया माइक नहीं है क्या तुम्हारे पास आपके पास
I have to say,
तो
ठीक है
लगाई
लेकिन वक्त का है मेरा ब्लूटूथ थोड़ा इसमें टॉपिक करता है
ओ ठीक से सुन
अरेंज
वी आर
करना
नॉट एबल टू हियर यू प्रॉपर्ली प्रभु
ऐसा करता हूँ आई कैन जस्ट अरेंज प्रोग्राम में इन द सबमिट
no I'm not able to hear you sorry but it's the echo is more over there
I think I arranging another invite
okay
someone else.
you can hear maybe
Sorry.
because it is too much. I don't know, disturbance. I'm not able to hear properly. Sorry, Shamkun Prabhu. Okay, Vivek, you can read.
January 2013. Interesting that you should mention K. Prabhu.
One
I
second, you can
think of
Hare
yes,
Krishna, you can
yes,
read from actually once you press the mic accept, it will take time. One
oh,
second, 1 second, 2 seconds. Within 1 second, you are reading one line. So one second.
20.
One
Okay,
second. So devotees they can hear properly, I think, ekdam clearly, as if somebody is telling in your ear. So this should be the voice. Then only it will be very nice. Otherwise, devotees cannot hear properly. There is a big problem. Maharaj always mentions in his lectures that voice should be very clear at least. We may not use hi-fi mics, but at least should be audible very clearly. Okay, continue.
29th January 2013. Interesting that you should mention K. Prabhu. I think of him from time to time in relation to my long ongoing institutional anomy. He dropped out of the system way back. Do you have news of him? Is he alive in Krishna consciousness? 30 January 2013. Definitely, the community members must be committed to the same ideals, otherwise, friction is certain. Manushyanam Sahasreshu. We cannot expect mass interest in the purpose of life website. But if we even one or two sincere souls become inspired by it, that will be our success. 6th February 2013. I am sorry to hear of your health problems and happy to hear of your ideal devotional response to them. We can understand these difficulties to be Krishna's mercy to inspire you to preach all the more strongly. It is Srila Prabhupada's mercy that I am able to be instrumental in bringing Ramalila to your family and to many other devotees and thus helping to save them from the ghastly activities that most people consider to be normal and pleasurable. 7th February 2013. Although Vai Prabhu was your father and father-in-law, spiritually he was nourished and guided by yourselves. Thank you for being good children, brother and sister by initiation, and almost like parents to him. 7th February 2013. It is laudable that you are helping your mother during this period of her poor physical health. But I am concerned that a prolonged absence from devotee association will not be good for your spiritual health. You must be wondering what to do next in the service of Srila Prabhupada's mission. You could join me and help to make books that could at least in the long term help to better Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON. Probably the next major writing project that I will embark on will be the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada. Also, many articles need to be written for the internet to counter so much nonsense that gets posted there. 7th February 2013. My experience and that of many overseas devotees who live in India is that if you treat Indian devotees with the courtesy suitable for any fellow human, then they will reciprocate accordingly. Some Western devotees and some from the more educated class of Indians seem to presume that every Indian devotee who is not much educated must be in ISKCON only for material motives. When large numbers of Indian and non-Indian devotees live close together, as in Mayapur, such attitudes, exacerbated by cultural differences and the general divisive influence of Kali Yuga, are likely to result in the kind of caste consciousness that you have referred to. I am not saying that all Indian devotees are saints, but that social problems that Western devotees often face in India could be much less if they were encouraged to be more open and friendly in their dealings with Indian devotees. Having said that, I can just imagine your daughter inadvertently creating a sensation among the less sense controlled brahmacharis in Mayapur. 11th February 2013. I'm very happy that you are happy in Krishna consciousness. That is the sign of actual advancement. Please continue like this, and naturally everything will expand by Krishna's grace. 11th February 2013. Inevitably, we all go through many tests in our practice of Krishna consciousness. There will be periods of doubt and confusion, but the solution is always available, namely to apply ourselves more assiduously to the process of devotional service. Never mind what our rascal mind wants to dictate to us. There in Melbourne, you have the extraordinary opportunity to serve transcendently beautiful and kind Sri Sri Radha Vallabha, an opportunity not available even to many great demigods. Please pray to them from the core of your heart to reapply yourself with full enthusiasm in their divine service. Surely they will help you. Please also remember that along with your direct activities of bhakti, Krishna will be pleased if you happily serve your devotee husband. 11th February 2013. Thank you so much for your appreciation and enthusiasm to help me in my service to Srila Prabhupada. However, I would prefer if you were to consult with other devotees who are making and maintaining websites for me. As I know very little about all these things, and as different devotees have different opinions, it is better that you all discuss together and come to a consensus. I know that you do not like to do this, and that you consider that your way of doing things is vastly better than that of others. But as I am not knowledgeable in this field, I feel that it is not wise that I take the opinion of one devotee ignoring that of others. You might desire better treatment.
One second, one second.
Sorry.
One second, one second.
Okay.
Uh, oh, where is which which date do you remember? I forgot.
I missed it, bro.
This one you have to read.
Uh,
Ignoring that of others. This you read, I think. Yeah, this you read. This
thank
one.
you so much. I'm just, yeah. Yes,
Yes.
bro. 13th February 2013. Actually, I do not think that you will get a better arrangement than one you presently have with ISKCON A. Although you might desire better treatment when you go there, it is unlikely that any other temple will offer you the level of independent initiative in Srila Prabhupada's service that you presently have. My advice is that you adjust yourselves to your present situation and continue as you are doing. You won't get a fully ideal situation anywhere. 14th February 2013. Although I sympathize with your deep distress, you should not pin any hope on my being able to solve your marital problems. You have to face the reality that your in laws are bent on their course of action and that there is nothing that I or anyone else can do to dissuade them. 15th February 2013. I would like to bless you to settle down, but Vidhi Boro Balavan, fate is very strong.
Vidhi Bado Balawan.
Vidhi Bado Balavan. Yeah. Fate is very strong. I might be more realistic to wish you happy travels.
It might be.
It might be, sorry, bro.
I-
It might be more realistic to wish you happy travels. 21st February 2013. Here in V, I was told that the temple here wanted to sponsor several of my female disciples to attend a Vaishnavi retreat that is scheduled to be held right after Gaur Purnima at G.
Oh,
One of the names mentioned was that of your wife. Undoubtedly, this retreat promises to be inspiring in many ways. However, I do not want that my disciples attend, as I see nothing in the prospectus of anything about how female devotees should prosecute domestic duties along with their Krishna consciousness. Quite likely, the senior women devotees will be calling each other Prabhu and insisting that this be the standard for all women devotees. Although this might seem to be a minor point, I strongly disagree with it because of the underlying implications. I wish to protect my disciples from the strong feministic propaganda that is adversely changing the social dimension of ISKCON. Of course, as Pati Guru, it is up to you how you direct your wife. But I thought I should let you know my feelings about this issue. If N. Prabhu is thinking to send his wife, please show this letter to him.
1 second. Just 1 second.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
26th February 2013. Your text was very intimate, and I can understand why you did not at first share it with me as you usually do. I found M's response to be cold, proud, condescending, with very little
Condescending.
condescending, with very little admission of her own faults and no expression of appreciation for all that you are doing for her. And yet she is far better than most Harikesha orphans. 28th February 2013. You could point out that, having been presented quotes from Srila Prabhupada that he was evidently unaware of, S. Prabhu has had to climb down from his claim of indefensibility of the claim that conditioned souls can be gurus. I suggest that you maintain a polite tone while you thrash various misconceptions. A sword in silk sheath style appeals to be more sober readers and distinguishes one from the childishly strident voices that are
Strident.
strident voices that are common on the internet. 4th March 2013. I realize that the last few months have been very difficult for you and that even now you have to make some serious decisions to the direction of your life. I simply advise or request you to not make any hasty or drastic decisions. Chant prayerfully, keep a cool head, and be introspective. I also understand that you have high respect for several ISKCON leaders and that your approach to Krishna consciousness might not be in all respects in tandem with mine. I will be happy from wherever you get bona fide guidance. However, that might be let us continue to work together on Bhagavad Gita project. It might take several years and if possible we could follow it with a similar exegesis of Srimad Bhagavatam. I am of course also grateful for the ongoing service you are doing that Srila Prabhupada imparts therein.
No.
Sorry,
I'm of course also grateful for the ongoing service you are doing in helping to protect.
I am of
Where are you
course
reading?
also just scrolling I got confused. I am of course also grateful for the ongoing service you are doing in helping to produce my books in T. 9th March 2013. To summarize some of many points you have sent me over the years, it appears to me that many, if not most of our present day leaders are psychologically damaged,
Oh,
nasty, or out of touch with reality and with those they are supposed to lead, or both, or strongly materially motivated. Egoism is prominent, and it seems that not many regularly read Srila Prabhupada's books or have as their internal compass the teachings that Srila Prabhupada imparts therein. You praise me so much, but I am simply stretching out over cyberspace for some sane association. 10th March 2013. Thank you for your letter. You have written it apparently in reply to a letter of mine, but I did not directly write any letter to you. Recently, your god brother B. Prabhu, who I have added as a receiver here, importuned me to tell you to give money to G. He told me he told me that you are
he
cheating
to-
her.
he
He told
told
me he told me that you were cheating her and gave evidence that on the internet many devotees were blaming you of this. He said that the local ISKCON authorities were not taking action and that the only hope would be if I were to say something to you and that many devotees were looking to me for this. I replied to B. Prabhu that I could not judge the situation without hearing the other side of the story and that matters such as these are usually too complex to understand without making much inquiry and that for me to do so remotely was not possible and that it is the duty of local ISKCON authorities to oversee such matters and that gurus should only intervene if requested by the relevant authorities. However, as B. Prabhu kept insisting, insinuating that I would be collaborating in crime if I failed to act, I told him that he could send a message to you from me to give G her money if you had wrongly taken it. I did not tell B to send the letter to anyone else. Whatever the matter may be, I trust I trust that you may all work it out am- amicably between
amic-
you.
amicably.
Amicably between you. From another letter from C Prabhu that I have just received, it seems that the technicalities of the situation are resolved, but that Rancho remains.
Rancor.
Rancor. Many new terms. On receiving this letter, various parties might wish to send me detailed letters proving how they are right. But again, it is impossible for me to understand all the details, and I do not wish to judge based on insufficient evidence and personal opinions, even though the opinions of opinionated people are considered by them to be facts. I wish everyone the best in their various services to Srila Prabhupada's mission.
Okay, Prabhuji. I'll
Okay,
request some other
thank you.
devotees. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. One letter overlooked 13th February 2013 that we read, but another letter he was mentioning about in the 7th February 2013. Okay, we will read it. Okay, Shubhankar Das, can you please read?
March 18th, 2013. We are like the Rajputs, opposing each other while the Mughals invade. 19th March 2013. It is common that one disciple complains to me about another and expects me to take action, but inevitably the other party has a quite different version to tell, and soon both parties feel that I am mistreating them because I do not do what they think is right. I trust that you are steady and fixed in Krishna consciousness, and notwithstanding the various tests that you are now facing. 21st March 2013. These policies seem to be okay, but I suggest that you add some more positive sounding clauses. The present list seems to be all do nots, which doesn't sound very encouraging. 22nd March 2013. Considering that your long-term plan is to live simply on the land, you might consider going that way in the short term. With everything so unstable in the world, growing one's own food should be a priority, especially for devotees who want to partake in Srila Prabhupada's Varnashrama revolution. 22nd March 2013. Is there any way to overcome these differences? Although we don't seem to work well as a group, still it is largely due to our efforts that there is at all a unified looking face of opposition within our movement to all that we individually oppose. It is we who have kept up the voice of opposition over all these years, and at last we have just gained a victory, or at least something resembling a victory. In my opinion, the complaints from both sides are valid, and both sides need to take note and do whatever is required to rectify. But now is not the time to part ways. 25th March 2013. On several occasions, Srila Prabhupada spoke in favor of polygamy. Sometimes he spoke against it also. It would seem to be applicable particularly in cases like that of Bhakti K, who is a still fairly young childless widow. Someone who can maintain her should accept her and give her protection, even as a second wife. Unfortunately, there is much wrong propaganda within ISKCON to the effect that Srila Prabhupada was wholly opposed to polygamy. 26 March 2013. Never mind about all those who criticize it. I know that at least some of my disciples are very appreciative of your learned advice, as I am also. And far more important, I am sure that Srila Prabhupada appreciates your lifetime commitment in his service. 29th March 2013. Ideally, brahmacharis will preferably take prasadam cooked by brahmacharis, but you might consider that according to the need for preaching there, you might make some adjustments. Our Prabhu is going there to help you, and one of the most obvious and practical ways he and his wife can help is in preparing prasadam. One possibility is to cook on a rotation basis. You can consider these points and decide what is best under the circumstances. 29th March 2013. Thank you for this report. Preaching news is always welcome. I trust that you will continue with follow-up programs to help these bewildered souls accept the message of Srila Prabhupada. 29th March 2013. Happy words. I do not know the details of what you were involved in, but it would seem the best way to defend against poison theory is to write an elaborate sober refutation as far as possible and to leave it at that. Poison theory can neither be proved nor disproved, and to continue to discuss it does not, in my mind, serve any valuable purpose. 29th March 2013. May Srila Prabhupada and Krishna bless your noble efforts to preach in Africa. Surely you will learn much and grow in Krishna consciousness.
One thing I want to just inform devotees that here Maharaj is mentioning a poison theory. So there is a book which is published, which is written by Maheshwar Prabhu by name Deception, which is entirely deals with poison theory. So that's going to come in future. Maybe we are going to sell it in Mayapur and Vrindavan. So devotees can order that book. Hare Krishna. Okay, continue.
30th March 2013. After receiving your letter, I sent it to Jayatirtha Charan Prabhu, who I have added as a receiver here. He has been serving for many years in New Zealand as an independent Vaishnava priest, and he has good philosophical and practical knowledge regarding samskaras, etc., which you can see if you visit his website. A summary of this, a summary of his outlook, which I agree with, is that we should try to introduce Vedic culture, even if at present we are quite inexpert. To his points, which you can see in the letter of his, which I am forwarding to you, I will add a few more thoughts as follows. Grihasthas especially need functions such as sanskaras to give them assurance of God's help. They might not appreciate that the holy name is sufficient for everything, and if that understanding is adopted without realization, it is likely to lead to sahajiaism. Grihasthas also require social functions, and if they don't have samskaras, which should include inviting devotee friends for kirtan and prasadam, then they will be more inclined to celebrate Christmas, etc. Samskaras also help to impress on the parents and others a sense of responsibility for raising the children. All these effects will be more if the samskaras are performed elaborately rather than minimally. Another point, we should not remain satisfied with our present standard of makeshift brahmanas, but should seriously work on giving proper training to suitable candidates, especially in gurukulas. 2nd April 2013. I'm not happy at all. I'm not at all unhappy with your present at service, which is a valuable contribution to Srila Prabhupada's mission in G. Srila Prabhupada often recommended deity worship for devotees who were excessively troubled by non-devotional thoughts. So I suggest that you request some regular direct service to Sri Sri Radha Giridhari. 2nd April 2013. Although we pray and hope for a miracle, from your report it seems very likely that your husband will have to leave his body soon. If possible, please bring him to Vrindavan so that he can pass away in the holy Dhamma and thus be assured of going to the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. If that is not possible, please do everything you can to help remind him of Krishna during his last days. If the doctors agree, you could bring him home, which would be more conducive for Krishna consciousness. Place pictures of Krishna in his room and have a chanting machine with the voice of Srila Prabhupada running continuously. 2nd April 2013. Please convey my blessings also to M. Mataji. I have known her since she was about 8 years old, and she has done well to remain in Krishna consciousness despite having had to face many difficulties. I took the liberty of discussing your letter with S. Prabhu, who I have added as a receiver here, who I often consult on various matters. A major part of my service involves giving advice to others. But situations and people are often complex, and I often feel the need to discuss with certain senior devotees before giving advice that is likely to significantly affect the advised persons. Although, actually, I'm not sure if you are seeking advice on how to deal with your situation or are just sharing it with me. It seems that your trust has been betrayed, and although you are innocent, you are being blamed. You are also, maybe for the first time, so bluntly coming to see some of the dark side of our movement that has disappointed and alienated maybe thousands of devotees. If you if you feel motivated to try to rectify the injustice of your present situation, then you will have to take some steps that are likely to cause you to be further blamed. Yet, if you do not do so, then again you and the students might be subjected to the political misuse of the role of a teacher by whoever that senior Oman devotee may be, although it is not difficult to guess. I don't know how far you want to pursue this matter. In such cases, most devotees just keep quiet or otherwise quietly walk away from the situation. Actually, there was a time when seminars about integrity and principle-based management were fashionable in ISKCON, thanks to Stephen Covey. However, talking about integrity and practicing it are not the same. Real integrity comes from the sincerity to surrender to Krishna, and it is not cheap. 2nd April 2013. I don't recall any instructions from Srila Prabhupada regarding charging devotees for prasadam at festivals, but my own experience is that if we less emphasize money and instead encourage voluntary donations and participation in service, the sweeter the festivals tend to be. But you know very well what is the situation at end, and that nothing is like to much improve very soon. It is unfortunate that you have to mix with non-devotees in order to meet your family needs, but it is very good that you are both materially and spiritually responsible and steady. Thank you for being a good example. 7th April 2013. I have no experience in writing an autobiography and thus am not in a position to well advise you. You could look on the internet for some guidelines or for a book about it on Amazon. Anyway, I will venture to answer your queries as best as I can. You should, who should you write for? If you feel so much urge to communicate something to others that you feel compelled to make a book of it, then you also have to consider who you most want to communicate to. It could be the Chauhans as representatives of the whole galaxy of pious almost devotees, or it could be to a broader public if you think that you can catch their interest with your life story. To future generations of Vaishnavas to educate them about obstacles on the path, or maybe just to your daughter. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote his autobiography specifically for one of his sons. Obviously, whatever you write has to be something that you should show to Srila Prabhupada with the confidence that he would approve it. I can't say how much you should include childhood memories. In the many How I Came to Krishna Consciousness BTG articles, I never found I never found the childhood part very interesting, although others might do. I would, however, be interested to hear something about Prague in 1968. On the whole, the test for your content should be whatever you think will help your readers to understand Krishna consciousness. Undoubtedly, your life and your perceptions of it are considerably more interesting than that of most other people. It would be refreshing to have a devotee's autobiography that does not seem intended to establish him as a saint in the minds of his gullible readers. 8th April 2013. It is difficult for me to decide for you, but as you have practically asked me what to do so, I advise that you wait until you can go with your husband, as that is your preference and you feel more safe and comfortable with that option. Going to India is nice, but it is not essential. You can become fully Krishna conscious in USA. 8 April 2013. Notwithstanding whatever a senior devotee may have done in the past, it is highly unlikely that Srila Prabhupada would approve of his being financed to live independent of the association of devotees. Let him move into a temple community and attend regular programs and do whatever service he can. If he is willing to accept this, then such an arrangement should be made. 8 April 2013. Certainly you are blessed to have had a devotee father of such exemplary character. There is nothing to be lamented in his passing on, as certainly he has gone to a better place. Krishna is looking after him. Mahamani Krishna Prabhu ki jai.
Prabhu, one second. We can stop here, Prabhu. Or you can read this one letter. Maybe we can. Yeah.
9th April 2013. I'm sure I'm sorry to learn that you are suffering poor health and trauma. But you should know the whole material situation is traumatic, and that true peace and happiness can only be attained by surrender to Krishna. ISKCON does not claim a monopoly on truth, but certainly is teaching the genuine Vedic process for this age, which is the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. I'm sorry that you feel that you were treated like a robot, but there is a standard discipline that is necessary for developing Krishna consciousness. This does not mean that one has to turn off his intelligence, but that one correctly utilizes his intelligence. No one in any situation can avoid being disciplined, and proper intelligence is to choose that discipline which will be of ultimate benefit. Better to be disciplined under Krishna's direction than to be a robot of Maya. Of course, Krishna is for everyone, but Krishna himself gives a system to approach him to those who are serious to do so, and that process is to approach him under the direction of his devotees, not directly. I pray that you may again become more serious about spiritual life. You may judge for yourself how much you are following spiritual principles and sadhana and what your motivations are as compared to previously. Whatever you may do, please continue to read Srila Prabhupada's books. Wishing you all the best.
Okay, Broji. We'll stop here.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, devotees, for participating in this online reading sessions. So if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we can stop here. If anything you want to ask or say, you can ask. Otherwise, we can stop here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha कृपा संदेभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः तन्ते निधाय तृणकं पदयोर्निपत्य कृत्वा च काकुत्सितम् एतत् अहं ब्रवीमि ये साधवः सकलमे विहाय दूरात् चैतन्यचन्द्रचरणे कुरुतानुरागम् हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण